All right, guys. So number 7 says Jasmine answered 19 out of 25 questions correctly on a quiz. About what percent of her answers were incorrect? Or I'm sorry, were correct. Um, so we're going to say 19 out of 25, right? That's just the same as 19 over 25. So once you have that, you know you can go in and out, right? That's what a hamburger is all about. And that's what division is all about. In and out. And you can divide. So if I'm dividing 19 by 25, I'll get a number with a decimal. And once I do that, I would go to the right 2 times. And notice that it also says about what percent. That means you don't have to be exactly accurate. So you're going to be like, what is close to it, right? So that's what you're doing here. 19 divided by 25, you'll get a percent. I'm sorry, you get a decimal. Move the decimal over 2 times to the right. And then you should have your percent. That's for number 7. Number 8 says, which of the following shows the rational numbers in order from least to greatest? So we're looking for the smallest number to the biggest number, right? So kind of what I talked about on number 7, we have on F, it says 25%. Well, if I have 25%, all I need to do again is move your decimal to the left 2 times, right? 1, 2. That means this is actually 0.25. So 0.25, right? So it'd be the opposite, right? If I had a decimal here and I went to the right 2 times, that's how I get my percent. That's how I turn these back and forth. So now I have 0.25, then I have 0.22, and then 1/5. And now 1/5, we would do the same thing we did on the last question, where I would have 1/5. I would go in and out to figure out what decimal it would be, right? So I have 1/5. If I go in and out, I'm going to say 1 divided by 5. Well, you guys have calculators, so you can use them. It's going to speed it up on this. We're not going to fault you for having that because we're not even actually asking you to show work. So if I get my calculator out, if I can get to my screen, where'd my mouse go? Here it is. I had 1/5, right? So 1 divided by 5. So I'm gonna put that in my calculator. I'm gonna say 1 divided by 5 equals 0.2, which is the same as 0.20, right? So now I know this is 0.2. You can add a 0 there if you need to, so it looks a little more even. So now, is this ordered from least to greatest? No, right? Because I have 0.25, which is the biggest number. So I know F is not my answer choice. Now, you have the information because I basically gave it to you, right? 1/5 we know is 0.20, and we know 25 is 0.25. So that's how we convert these, and you guys should be able to figure out which one is in order from least to greatest right now. All right, number 10 says, out the decimal 0.55 written as a fraction in simplest form. So when we are talking about, if you read this out loud, the easiest way to turn this into a fraction is to read it out loud, right? We have 0.55. Well, this is really 55 hundredths, right? Which is 55 over 100, which is our letter F. But the tricky part on this question is it says simplest form, which means we have to simplify it. So if we get 55 over 100, we have to decide, well, what number can go into both these numbers so I can simplify it and make it a smaller number. I know I could divide them both by 5, right? Because when I do that, if it ends in 5 and 0, that means they're divisible by 5. So if I divide 55 by 5, I would get 11 because 55 divided by 5 gives me 11. And 100 divided by 5 gives me 20. So then I have to think, can I go further? I can't. So this would have to be my answer, 11 over 20, which is G, right? All right, that was number 10. All right, number 11 says Caleb's receipt for lunch is shown below. If Caleb pays with a $10 bill, how much change will he receive? Well, first we need to figure out how much he actually owes, right? So I'm sure they don't want you to use your calculator on this, but you can. And you're just going to put 3.79 plus 1.45 plus 1.29 plus 39 cents, right? Add it all together, and then you're just going to take whatever number you get and take $10 and subtract that number. And that's how we would do number 11. Figure out how much change he should get. This is an important skill. I'm not going to work it out for you guys because you guys should know how to do this. And it's one that you guys should practice because when you pay, you should know how much money you get back. All right, I skipped 9, but I'll talk about it very briefly. It says the model below represents 66%. What decimal is equivalent to this percent? You can actually ignore this model because if you can remember how to turn this into a decimal by going to the left, you'll have your answer. So which one of these would be going to the left twice? Remember, your decimal on a number that doesn't already have a decimal in it is after your number, right? So it'd be 66 point. So then move it to the left 2 times to get your answer. For number 12, Colleen rode her bicycle 9.5 miles in 0.8 hours, right? What was her average speed in miles per hour? So we want miles per hour. That means we're going to try to figure out how to turn it into 1 hour. So all I have to do is take 9.5 and divide by 0.8. So you can get your unit right there. That's how you do number 12. 9.5 divided by 0.8. All right, 13. There's 25 servings in 30.2 ounce jar of peanut butter. How many ounces of peanut butter are there in 1 serving? Okay, so this is a little tricky than other ones, but not really. It just says, so it's giving me servings and the ounces, right? There's 30.2 ounces and 25 servings. Well, if I want, it wants to know how much it's going to be for 1 serving, right? So I'm going to line up my servings. So I know if my servings are on the bottom, it says there's 25 servings, right? And how many ounces are there? 30.2. So I have 30.2 over 25 ounces, right? I'm getting that data from right here, right? For every 30.2 ounces, there's 25 servings. But we want to know how much it is for 1 serving. So that means we need to divide, right, by 25 to get 1. So if I divide by 25 here, that means I need to divide the top by 25 too. And then I'll get how many ounces it is per 1 serving, because that's what it wants to find out. So once you do 30.2 divided by 25, you'll have your answer. It'll go right here. All right, 14 says Angela earns $6.25 per hour babysitting. Estimate how much she will earn if she babysits for 9 hours this weekend, and then explain. So what I would do here is, especially with a lot of word problems, I like to mess with numbers that are easier to think about. So let's say instead of earning $6.25 per hour, let's say she earns $5 per hour. And if she worked for 2 hours, how much would she make? That's a lot easier for me to figure out, right? 5 times 2 is $10. So we're going to do the same thing. 6.25 times 9 will give you your hours, right? One takeaway here is let's estimate how much she will earn if she babysits for 9 hours this weekend. So if you're estimating, that means you can actually mess with these numbers a little bit more. So instead of saying 6.25, I could say $6, right? So $6 times 9 is 54. So I'll say she'll make about $54. A little bit more than $54, right? Because it's estimating. So you don't have to be precise on these. When it says estimate, it means you can be slightly off. He's got to be close. So that would be my strategy for this one. If you didn't want to mess with decimals, or just do the, multiply it together with the calculator. Number 20 or 15 says, which is not a factor of 84? So what numbers cannot divide 84 evenly, right? That's what we're going to figure out here. So you can do the GCF thing and see which number never shows up if you wanted to. So let's see here. We could divide by 2. Sorry, I did that backwards. I meant to do it like this. So I could divide by 2 here, right? And I would get 42. You know what? I'm sorry. I am teaching it one way, but it's not one way we've learned, so I'm not going to do that right now. I was thinking the trees, the towers that we've done in class, like to get the GCF. So you can do that, right? 2 times 42. That would be one way. 3 times something equals 84, right? The 7 go into 84, figure that out. The 8 go into 84, that's all you have to do. So you can just actually divide 84 by any of these numbers, and whichever one it doesn't go in evenly is going to be your answer, because it wants to know which one is not a factor, right? All right, number 16. Pause first. All right, on number 16, it looks like a typo because it says which of the following does not represent the shaded portion of the figure below, but nothing's shaded. So I think that might be an error. You're supposed to have something shaded here, but even if you don't have a shaded area, you can, like, another question for this would be which one of these is different from the others. So I know that 75% turns into 0.75, right? Because if I go to the left, I would get 0.75. So these are equal. Oops, I have to circle them. These are equal to each other. I also know, because this is one of my benchmark fractions, that 3/4 is actually, if I times it by 4, times it by 25, because there's 4 quarters in 100, because I want to equal it out of 100, right? That's the easiest way to figure out how much a fraction is to make it out of 100 to find the percent. That's how you turn a fraction into percent, right? We also went out of 100. So if I did times 25 here, and I did times 25 here, because I need to do the same to the bottom as I do to the top, that means this would be 75 out of 100, right? That's my benchmark fraction, which is the same as these, right? Which means that this is my only answer that is not represented in the shade below. So I'm going to actually circle that in green. So that's my answer for number 16. But yeah, they didn't give you the right information because it wasn't shaded. All right, so number 18. I think I'm skipping a couple here, but Regina purchased $1.75 pounds of turkey breast from her local deli. Not $1.75, sorry, 1.75 pounds of turkey breast for $5.99. So that's how much it costs. To the nearest cent, how much did she spend in all? So you're just going to multiply these together, right? Because if she has 1.75 pounds and she's paying almost $6 per pound, so how much would she have spent? You're just going to multiply them together. Number 19, it says Katrina uses 4.125 yards of fabric for each curtain panel that she makes. So this is for one curtain panel, right? So how much will she need if she needs 14? So all you're going to do is, instead of 1, we're multiplying by 14, right? It already gives us the unit rate. Now we have 14 panels, so we just multiply those together. Number 20, the table below shows the results of a survey on students' favorite school lunches. What fraction of the students surveyed said that the grilled cheese is their favorite school lunch? So let me see here. So this is the percent, right? And percents are always out of 100. So how many people said that the grilled cheese is their favorite lunch? Well, this says 30, right? 30%, which would be 30 out of 100, right? So how would you simplify that? All right. A lot of these I think you guys can figure out if you start working them out. If you have questions, please join a Zoom or ask questions on the comments, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Have a good day, and I hope you guys enjoyed the spring break. Have a good one. Serena, out.